there has been a 98% growth in AI projects in just the last year. And according to GitHub, at least 73% of us developers are now using AI tools as part of our workflow, whether it be Copilot or Cursor, Claude, GPT, like whatever it is. 73% of us are now using AI tools. And what this means is now the gap between basic and expert developers is growing faster and wider than literally ever before. So in this video, we're gonna dive into the top 3 things I think developers will struggle with in 2025, and stick around to the end because I'm going to give you my exact 2025 strategy so that I too can stay ahead, stay current with all these things, and honestly just not feel like I'm drowning all year. The first thing I think developers will struggle with, and some of you probably already are, is this new reality of AI. For the very first time, I think in like a decade, GitHub has reported that Python has officially surpassed JavaScript in the most used language. I don't know how long y'all have been developers, but like that is huge. JavaScript was the reigning champion for a very long time, and officially Python has taken over. And it just goes to show, like, this is the importance of AI. And I think it'd probably be fair for some of y'all to say like, oh, this is just our manager's buzzword of the week. Like, who cares? This is a fad, blah, blah, blah. Like, I get it. And truthfully, being totally transparent, like that was my gut reaction too, until I saw the statistics on GitHub. According to GitHub, in just public repositories alone, there has been hundreds, if not millions of commits this last year, all related to AI. And genuinely, I'd like to think like us developers were pretty good at sussing out like what's a fad, what's not. You see a little bit of a burn, but then it dies off really quickly. And it seems like AI is actually here to stay. And if you're still on the fence whether you think AI is actually bullshit or not, unfortunately, I think you are going to really struggle in 2025 as all of the other people who have jumped on the bandwagon start to stand out more than you. And if you're interested in my opinion on how to actually stand out, click the card up here because I just dropped a video on 3 things to actually stand out in this field. It's relevant now, but it'll also be relevant in 2025. The second thing I think developers are really going to struggle with in 2025 is this growing divide of skill set. Because of AI, efficiencies, low code and no code solutions becoming more and more popular and honestly more capable and acceptable, being good just really, quite frankly, isn't good enough anymore. You see, there's a huge influx of people delivering projects to their clients where ChatGPT or Claude wrote 90% of their code. And maybe you're like, yeah, but that product is shit. And it's like, it doesn't matter. It's still a product that was delivered to a client quicker and faster than somebody who's refusing to use AI at this point. So whether it was built with bubblegum and duct tape or made out of lumber and steel, the client seems to not care anymore as long as it works, and like as long as it's not absolutely dog water, but as long as it works in the eyes of the client, it is still a great transaction. And this is what I mean by being good is just not good enough anymore. You know, I remember 5 years ago when you were a developer with a basic skill set and you were still sought after because it was such a high barrier entry thing. And now if you know how to write a few ChatGPT prompts, honestly, you can do most of the work yourself without even having to hire it out. And this just wasn't the case 5 years ago. So I think what we're going to see in 2025 is a continued trend that AI is going to be the workhorse and that you are going to spend more time person-to-person meetings doing collaborative design, API specs, service rights, everything. You're just going to be spending more time with people than I think you are with the code. And all that to say, if you hate these collaborative design meetings, if you hate working with your peers, I think you're really going to struggle in 2025. The last thing I think developers will struggle with, and quite truthfully, this one hits home for me, is I believe we will see a higher rate of burnout amongst developers. My heart goes out to the junior developers right now because y'all are getting, and I'm sorry to be so blunt about that, but it is true. I've seen quite a few badass junior developers slinging hella code and making really cool projects, and they understand maybe like 50% of the code that they are shipping and delivering. Especially in today's SaaS indie world where it's just ship it, there's a lot of code that developers just don't understand what it does and they're shipping it out to the world. I especially see this when it comes to integrating third-party products into your baseline because it's very easy to just say, hey ChatGPT, I want to integrate the TipTap editor into my project. Like, give me the couple lines of code that I need to do, like screw reading their documentation and all that crap. Just give me it. It's done. I have it in. Oh, cool. I see it working. Ship it. I see that a lot, and it is honestly, it's ruining your career. And I think the reason that burnout is going to be on the rise in 2025 is the simplicity and efficiencies that AI gave us is only raising expectations. And for junior engineers, this really, really sucks because the expectation is going to be way up here. You're going to be using AI to meet that expectation, but your knowledge and your skill set is still going to be down here because you didn't take the time to actually learn it and break it and tear it open and actually understand what happens under the hood. And it sucks for y'all because I think that is going to ruin the longevity of your career, at least as a software developer. And right now, we're all kind of in this like lose-lose situation. If you don't use AI, you're gonna fall behind. If you do use AI incorrectly, you're not going to learn how to use the tool, how to maintain the tool. Bugs are gonna pop up and you're gonna be like, well, I guess I'm going to ChatGPT to solve my own damn bugs because what else am I gonna do? It's not a life that I would want to live. And I definitely have some thoughts on how you can combat and work through beating burnout. And if y'all are interested in that, drop a comment down below and let me know. I would love to deliver that video to you and offer that value because clearly I'm quite opinionated and passionate about burnout because this is something I have immensely suffered through. And I think I finally got to the other side and I'd love to share that. So drop a comment down below if you want to see that and maybe we'll see a video here soon. So those are the 3 major things that I think developers are gonna struggle with in 2025. And you might be asking yourself, all right, cool, dude, what the hell do I do with it all now? So here is my exact 2025 strategy on how I am going to combat all 3 of these things and have a year that's actually enjoyable. First and foremost, I'm giving myself right now the friendly reminder that I need to master the fundamentals before I use AI. And what I mean by this, and hear me out if you're a junior developer, I hope you take this to heart because I think this will help save your burnout crisis you might be going through. Take the time to put in the effort to go and learn the damn tool through trial and error, through documentation, watching YouTube tutorials. Do not open Claude or ChatGPT, turn off your damn Copilot temporarily, and learn how to use the product before you have AI speedrun it for you. And in my personal opinion, this is the only way to actually learn what you're doing so that in the future you know how to maintain it, debug it, actually talk about it to your leaders. If you just ChatGPT it, it's gonna be a disaster. The second part of my 2025 strategy is to focus on problems that AI can't solve. Look, AI is really good at using ChadCN and building that tiny little widget or component for you, but it is absolute shit at building meaningful connections for you with other people, you know, at least for now. So I plan to turn my focus this year to doubling down on learning more about my peers, my colleagues, my developers, my bosses, the things they love, the things they hate, and honestly, just learn more about them. And I think this is going to actually make 2025 much more enjoyable because it'll feel a little more family oriented rather than just you're my coworker that I see on my 9 to 5. And the last piece of my strategy here is to have fun. I get it. Maybe that sounds like total bullshit. Maybe that sounds like, oh, well, you should always be having fun. I get it. But I think a lot of us forget that the ability to code and to build something, literally starting with a notepad and then building a finished product, is pretty cool. You don't always need to use AI for the efficiencies. It's okay to just get your hands dirty and be like, you know, I'm doing this for me because I like coding and it is fun. Otherwise, if you're not having fun, quite truthfully, life is too short. Why are you still in this field? Why are you still writing code? There's lots of other amazing things out there that you could be doing. And if you're not having fun, it's just not worth your time. So I appreciate y'all. If any of this resonated with you, I would greatly appreciate if you'd consider hitting the subscribe button and giving me a thumbs up so that the YouTube algorithm can do its thing and share this video out with more people. And if you have other things that you think developers are gonna struggle with in 2025, drop a comment down below. I'm eager to hear about them. And with that, I'll see you all next week.